and I saw somebody walking across the street. Very mundane thing to see. But for the first time in my life, I didn't just see somebody, it struck me that this was somebody God was willing to die for. Okay, that's very common for us when we say it as Christians. But can you imagine, from the perspective of a Muslim for just one moment, can you imagine the notion of God dying for someone? God who remains apart from this world as if behind a veil, that God who created this universe just by thinking it into existence, the God who is all-powerful, the creator of time and space, entered into it and suffered at the hands of his own creation. Because, for example, in Surah Al-Imran, when Allah is talking to Moses, it says in Surah Al-Imran, I think it's Surah Al-Imran, it might be Surah 18, but double check, that Allah, as he spoke to Moses, Allah was in the bush. Allah was in the bush. So if you want to say that meant something else, well, you're going to have to argue with the Quran on that one. It seems to be pretty clear that Allah can emanate his voice from a physical place. He can be in a physical place in a sense. In the same way, I don't believe that God coming to this earth limits his omnipotence. It's not a limitation of his omnipotence. Jesus has taken on flesh. God the Father is still everywhere. God, Jesus, the Son, is here on this earth. It's a limitation in that sense, but it's not a limitation of his nature. He is both the divine and human nature. That's the argument. This is the God of the universe we're talking about. And then when he comes, he lives as a blue-collar laborer. He could have come into the household of a king. No, he works with his hands in sweat and tears. And he ultimately gets 12 disciples in whom he invests his whole heart, and they betray him, one of them with a kiss. Betray him to death, and then he gets flogged. Have you ever read about the flogging process, what that's actually like? Cicero tells us that it was called the pre-death, that people were whipped such that their skin fell off their bodies in ribbons. People's abdominal walls were torn open, intestines fell out during the flogging process. Our God going through this and then placed on a cross. You know, the cross was designed to be the most humiliating, the most painful way to die ever in human history.